Lawrence, Audie Kunalic with opendorse, an online platform that connects marketers with athletes to build endorsement campaigns. And so please, let's make them feel welcome.
So we're brought here to provide some advice to the scholarship recipients, or we might spend the next 20 minutes talking about Nebraska football, or what it's like to play for Bo Pelini. I know you liked it.
I love that guy.
Audie was a kicker, so it wasn't a real position.
He's used that joke like 300 times already. So.
Still true.
Don't need a lot.
So when asked to come and present to some of the scholarship recipients, I thought back on a presentation I given that I love the name. I think Audie laughs at it. But it's the 6 S's that will lead you to successes. I love it. Like when I came up with that idea, I was like, that's clutch. So a little bit of background. I don't know if any of you know Blake, Audie's story. But the two of us went together on the football team in 2007 and proceeded to play football in Nebraska. Audie went on and played in the NFL for a little over a year. And during that time, we started a business, and we've now started our second company. So a lot of these pieces of advice, these 6 S's, we're going to bring in stories from our journey, things that we've learned as entrepreneurs, and hopefully this will come in handy as you go off to the next phase of your life. And then anyone in the room, I think this also applies to you at different parts of your career. So the first S is solve problems. So as entrepreneurs, we think about solving problems on a daily basis, but as you go off into college, or you guys are thinking about your career, there's always a way to approach the day and say, what problems can I solve either for myself or the people around me? And if you are thinking of yourself as a starter, as an entrepreneur, maybe as a student, and you ever mowed a lawn, or babysat, or put out a lemonade stand on the corner, you were solving problems, right? Someone's lawn's too high, you catch bats, whatever tickles your fancy. But you are, in a way, a problem solver, and that's really a key thing to know in your journey. And Audie, you talk about how we've been solving problems in our career.
Yeah, and to Blake's point about solving problems, I think, for us it was, finding an opportunity. One, if you go back to our story and our first conversation that we had over beers, junior year of college, heading into the summer of our senior year, Blake was solving a problem as a social media intern for a company here in town doing social media services, and he's telling me about this gig. He's like, hey man, I'm getting paid to write Facebook posts and blogs and tweets, and I go, no way, right? They are not doing that for you. And he's like, no, seriously, it's a real problem solver, because people don't have time, knowledge, or resources to do it, and I'm actually creating a lot of value for them, and I'm getting them business. And so, it was that moment where in my head, I saw that as an opportunity that, if you're doing it for these guys, and this is around 2010, it was something that a lot of other businesses have as well. And that was kind of our initial kind of thought or idea behind finding a problem to solve, but then also expanding on that and pursuing a business opportunity together to continue doing that.
So solving problems is the first S. The second one is sudden change. And this one, everyone that I just heard your majors, what you're going into school for, and if that's the same thing that you graduate with in 5 years, I think you'd be surprised to solve it. So I think you have to be prepared for sudden change. And this not only applies for the scholarship recipients, but everyone in the room. And for me personally, before Audie and I started her dad, our first company, we were both starters in the Nebraska football team. I came from Kansas City and suffered through the 2007 season, which we lost. Like, how many games did we lose that year? Like 500?
I feel like we lost the season.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, it was cool. We showed up and they gave us like all the Adidas gear, made you look like a football player, and like we wore it around campus like we were so cool. And
You did that?
Yeah.
By yourself?
It's a kicker. And once we started getting our butts whipped, I was wearing normal clothes. I was like wearing a tie to class. Like, I don't know the football guys. You guys suck. But I mean, being a football player at the University of Nebraska is a tremendous honor. Getting to the point where I was wearing a black shirt. And that was my identity. I was Blake Morris, a football player. And everyone in this room has an identity. You think about what you get up and want to do every day. And if that's your career, then great. If something else that you're passionate, it's awesome. But that is who you are, and it's when you're most excited. For me, that was football. For the students here today, that may be arts, music, education, extracurriculars, volunteering. That becomes part of your identity. And one day, in the middle of junior year, as a starting linebacker in Nebraska, I was told I could never play football. And it was a moment where my identity was stolen. It was taken away. And I had 4 concussions in a little over a year. The doctor said I couldn't play the sport. And at that moment, there's a lot of people that have all gone through this exact thing. Maybe not concussion related or Nebraska football related, but you've gone through sudden change. And it's all about understanding what you've learned in that role in your life and how you apply it to the next thing. And so for me, it was about taking the passion and energy that had gotten me to the level of Nebraska linebacker and taking that passion and energy and keeping it high and just shifting the focus to entrepreneurship. And so as you go through your college career, be ready for sudden change and know that if you've got something on deck, something next, that can also, if you're excited to get out of bed in the morning, that can be the next thing when you're facing sudden change.
And I think, to Blake's point about sudden change, I think sudden change can happen at the beginning of college, it can happen in the middle, it can happen at the end. I think for me, my sudden change was that when I got here, I didn't know who Alex Henry was. And then later, I found out that he's really good at football as well. And so I think I came to the university, assuming that I'm going to be the starting kicker, kick field goals, do my kickoffs, and be off to the NFL and doing the whole thing that way. But I think after getting here and still obviously still fortunate enough to kick in every game and be a kickoff guy, but it was a sudden change for me because I had this expectation that I wouldn't have really much of any competition. And that was part of Bill Callahan was really good at recruiting people. He would tell people a lot of things. And then when you got there, they'd be like, oh, by the way, we have all these other people as well. They're gonna probably take your spot. But for me, it turned into something where I had to experience a sudden change and overcome it, and being able to continue to do that, obviously, and then meeting up with this guy again towards the end of college allowed us to expand on that as well.
So we get to go through sudden change every day at our startup as well. The third one is self-awareness. And one thing you can see, Audie and I are very comfortable in our own skin. We're very self-aware of who we are, what we bring to the table, and that really helped us in any team environment. But as you're going to college and you're working on group projects and you're the only guy working, because if you apply and get a scholarship, you're probably the guy in a group project that does everything, and then the other people don't show up or just eat the pizza. Audie ate a lot of pizza.
Okay,
that's not true. But self-awareness is key. So just understanding who you are as a person, how you balance that. So Audie is really invested in understanding strengths and self-awareness. So
yeah, I think one of the key things that we did early on, it was through our mentor, Lori Becky, who introduced us to Gallup Strengths Finder, and came in and really implemented with our team. But I think one of the cool things that I really invest in is understanding people, understanding myself as well, and early on having that opportunity to look at it and say, here's all the things that I'm not good at, and fortunately Blake being good at those things, and then here's all the things that I am great at, and things that maybe Blake's not so good at. So I think early on we had this idea where we understood that Blake was going to be the idea guy. He was going to come up with 20 ideas, 19 of them sucked so bad, but one of them was great, and I was going to be able to find out which idea that is and go and execute on it. And I think the self-awareness part is huge, because when you're an entrepreneur, or I hate that word sometimes, but when you're solving problems and you're starting a business, I think everyone gets excited about oh, I want to do this part, I want to do this part, and I think it's understanding that, hey, you may want to do these things, but here's some things that you're really good at, and if you maximize those, you can get the most out of your business and in the end also your partnership.
Self-awareness is key. The next S is start. And the most obvious but overlooked step as entrepreneurs is we just gotta get started. And this isn't just for entrepreneurs, it's whatever is next in your career, whether with college or, I know you probably looked at that application for the scholarship and said, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And you're here today because you just did it, right? You got started. And so for Audie and I, we had those beers. We said this should be a great opportunity for us to not do social media for one company, but for everybody. We should start a company. And so we worked that whole summer on a business plan and this initiative. Audie was working at the same company I was. And one day we had the plan. And we had to just schedule a meeting with our boss and tell him what we were doing. And we did it, right? We made the phone call and said, hey, boss, we're your interns that you pay $10 an hour, and we wear sweats to work. And we tweet and blog and whatever. And we had to tell him that, hey, we are no longer working for you. We started our own company, and this is how much it costs to work with us, right? It was a crazy concept. But I just remember that day, going over that meeting, we had this whole proposal written out, right? Heard at social media, silly name, but it's stuck for 6 years. And we're gonna, help manage social media for businesses, and we had this whole breakdown of services, we had this price listing, and I remember we're driving over there, and I look over at Audie, and I got the prices right there, and it's like, $500 a month, and all the way up to like $1,000 a month. It wasn't where the prices are now, but we said, Audie, I don't think we're charging enough. No? He's like, what do you mean we're not charging enough? I said, well, I don't know, I think we can charge a little bit more. And he said, well, we got all this stuff printed off on really nice fancy paper. Like, you can't change the prices now. And I'm like, dude, we gotta double the prices. And Audie's like, come on, we can't double. I was like, well, I'm increasing on 50%. And he's like, all right, whatever. So we get there, and our boss is in the conference room. We walk in, 1 second, boss, and sprint up to the intern lab and change the prices and print it off. Go back down, slide it across the table, that's how much it costs to work with us. And he circled the biggest number on the page and says, let's get started. And that was the moment we started the company, right? That has employed 50 plus people, and now our one now is 20. So we've got a very proud moment, but the whole way home, all I'm thinking, yeah, we started a company, but we should have doubled the damn price.
And it wasn't as easy as he said, but it did work out that way. There was a moment of silence when we said, we're going to charge you this much money now. I was like, and then he circled it, and thank God he was saw how ambitious we were and wanted to help us make it happen. But yeah, we should have doubled the price.
We eventually did, so we got that. So the next S is scale. And in the entrepreneurial world, in the startup world, everyone talks about scale. But to anyone in this room, it's about just doing more with less. Maximizing your resources, maximizing output with minimum input. And what we do every day is try and find what is the opportunity that we have as a company to be the best in the world at. And I think that we found that with opendorse, and we're really are a market leader. But as an individual, you get to think what can I be the best in the room at? What can I be the best in my company at? What can I be the best in my school at? And I guess investing in yourself and finding ways to scale yourself as an individual is key to success. And I can talk a little about that.
Yeah, and I think this is. I try to tell people sometimes. One of the cool things for me has always been that I feel like I found this kind of what my purpose is in life, and it's always been whether it's with our employees or anybody that I can help with, but it's truly just figuring out how I can help someone and how I can help them grow, and trying to figure out I think a lot of times people need an outside source to tell them that they're better than they even think they are. and that's something that's been really cool for me. But when I think about scaling, I just think about like how many people can I figure out, can I help out and see how can I put them on the right path and get them to realize that they're fully capable of doing more than they even thought was possible. And I think that does some pretty cool things for you, because eventually all those people start to do the same thing with others, and you're able to scale a company and grow it and really see what that turns into eventually.
And then as you're investing in other people throughout your college career, throughout your career in general, you know that impact comes back around, and that's something that's significant. So we focus a lot on scale. The final S is support. So the foundation for success is really the people that support you. So those that are here to support your journey in college, the LIBA group, and also those that are here to see you accept the award. I mean, think about everyone in this room has a sibling, they've got a friend, or someone in their life that they just, no matter what that person's trying to achieve, you're going to support them, right? Because you believe in them to their core. And along the way, along our journey, along your journey, there's people like that you don't know. And so if you go through these 6 S's of successes, you become successful. So cool. You didn't do it alone, and everyone knows that. Adi and I can stand here and be proud to have started a couple companies and impacted many people, and are proud to be in this community. But it's because of this community that we're able to do that, right? There's people in the faces of the room that have been part of our journey from the earliest years and gave us kudos and credit and believe in us when maybe we didn't even believe in ourselves. And so everyone in this room has someone like that. And if you can thank that person today, or find a way to get back in touch, or just know the support is what's going to enable you to be confident enough to solve problems, to overcome sudden pain, to be self-aware, to get something new started, and find a way to impact others the same way that they've impacted you. So all of those things that we shared, the successes, have really led us to where we are today, where, in 2010, we started a company, just the 2 of us winging it. We went down to El Potrero one time, Corona, to celebrate. And then we had, hired our first employee. We had 6 customers, then 12, then 24, then, Herda ended up working with over 200 different businesses from around the world before we sold it in 2014 to focus on opendorse. And now, Herda aggregated 25 employees, and each one of these employees, we try to instill these keys to success for them as individuals so they can grow on their journey. We can have an impact in their lives. It's great to see where they are now. In 2014, we shifted our focus to opendorse, which is an athlete. We connect marketers with athletes to build social media campaigns. We manage social media accounts of about 3,500 professional athletes right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. So Odell Beckham Jr., Richard Sherman, Draymond Green, Mark Teixeira, Hope Solo, not Johnny Manziel.
No affiliation.
Audi looks like Johnny Manziel.
I've been told that.
He does.
We went to an LPA party in February for the Super Bowl, and I had a couple of agents come up like, "Hey man, where'd you go? Oh, that's not you. You're not Johnny, right?" I'm like, "No, get away from me." That's
Right.
That was.
Probably the booze in your hand, though.
I was by the bar at the time. That's probably why.
So right here in Lincoln, Nebraska, we're making a tremendous impact in this industry. And one of the things that why we're doing this is very simple. We want to add value to everyone that we meet. And the people that we focused on adding value for are these athletes that work so hard, and we know this personally, to establish that influence that they have and the trust that they have within their fan base. And really just want to help them add value, either by adding a new fan, or connecting with somebody that looks at them as a hero, or connecting with a business that wants to have them promote to their fan base. So yeah, it's great to be making a lasting impact, and very thankful for the community for supporting us. And hopefully you guys are fast forward a few years and you're up here sharing your story as well. But the fact that you've taken the initiative to apply, to accept this scholarship, and are going to the next level, we should all be proud of that. I think that it's what we all do this for, is to see others learn and grow. We're very young in our journey. You who are behind us. But as long as you understand some of the topics and successes, then I think that you will have success. Thank you guys. I don't know if you have questions or anything like that, or